Hey, welcome to Tuesday video follow through. And we are in the Gospel of Luke. We're going to be really there in chapter 15 for the rest of the week. On Sunday in the sermon, I talked about how Jesus told all these different parables. We only did the first one. And so today we're going to do the one that comes right after that, the parable of the lost coin. And then we're going to look at the prodigal son. That's a very, very famous one. And so we'll be parked here for the rest of the week. Now, today we're going to look at verses 8 to 10. And it's about finding things. Now, I love when I find something. I can remember it was about a year ago or so, we had gotten a settlement from our a car payment that we had, and there was an issue with the finance company or something like that, and there was like a class action lawsuit, and we got a settlement, and we lost the information. We had gotten back from vacation, and it was in this giant pile of mail, and it was one of those mailers that looks like it's junk mail. You know what I'm talking about? You know, where you've got a loan and you're pre-approved, and they try to fake you out with that check, but it's really just an offer to go more in debt. So we thought it was one of those, and it wound up being like the actual from the lawyers and everything else, and we're like, oh man. So we searched high and low. We just figured we threw it out, probably went in a shredder. But thankfully, we kept searching, we kept looking, and we wound up calling the company, and we wound up tracking it down because we kept searching. We went online, and we found the company, we found the lawyer's office, we were able to call them, and we were able to get that check. That's awesome, and we just rejoiced. Now again, it wasn't millions of dollars, but it was helpful. And there's so many times in your life where you lose something, and just imagine, I want you to just think about the joy that you have when you are just freaking out because you lost something, but then you find it. And that's what this one parable is about. Now, Jesus is talking about his love for people who are lost, for people, not for coins, not for checks, right? Not for any of that stuff, but for people like you and me. And he gives another example. He says, okay, so on Sunday, he talked about sheep and shepherds, and when one of the sheep gets lost, the shepherd goes and finds it. Or a woman, he says in verse 8, who has 10 silver coins. What if she loses one of them? And she needs it. Every coin counts, right? Every bit of money counts for her. He said, doesn't she light a lamp and sweep the house and search diligently until she finds it? I mean, she turns that place over looking for it and only stops when she finds it. And when she finds it, she calls her friends together, right? Because she was so freaked out and she needed that and she had to have it. And she looked and she's like, rejoice with me, I found the coin that I lost. And just as Jesus said on Sunday in the previous parable, he says now, just so. In other words, we're not talking about coins here. We're talking about people, souls, people's hearts, right? There's joy before the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Can you imagine that? When you were saved, right? When you believed that Jesus died for you, when you believed that he rose for you, that moment when it all came clear, the heavens, the angels rejoiced that it happened to you. See, I don't know if we grab that. I don't know if we could really understand that and take the full weight of that and how awesome that is. That God and the angels rejoice that you were saved, that rejoice that maybe there's someone in your life that God is going to save. I want you to pray. I want you to make a list of people that you know. Maybe they don't know God. Maybe they're struggling really just in a desperate way in their faith. And how can you encourage them? Right? How can you reach out to them? Again, start by listening. Start by hearing their story, as we talked about yesterday. What's really going on? Right? Because God calls us to care for people. Or this is not another feather in your cap. It's in like, oh, look at what I did. I won someone for the Lord. No. It's because we love people, and we don't want to see anyone in that darkness. We don't want to see anyone hurting. We want them to be alive and to have the hope that we have. Because Jesus came to seek and to save the lost, and he did everything to bring us back, everything to find us and to bring us home. So I pray that that encourages you today. And again, make that list, pray about it, and make some calls, text, whatever you got to do, an email. Maybe not stop by the house now, but after this COVID thing, maybe stop by the house. What a difference God makes in our lives and in the lives of the people around us. All right, so that's it for Tuesday's video. We'll see you tomorrow for another follow-through.